Hi, welcome.
Is that how we're going to start?
Welcome back to Our Wild Beautiful Life. I hope you have recovered from last 3 weeks worth of podcasts. Sorry for any and all emotions that you may have experienced. We have had some positive feedback, which has been really, really beautiful. Some people who have reached out for help and through their own situations that they're going through, and beautiful friends who have shared their appreciation.
Others for sharing their concern, primarily from the fact of just like not knowing or just being around but not aware. And
so it's not a normal thing for people to share on this type of thing. Unfortunately, we want to change that narrative, especially for men. But I can guarantee you there's people in your world that are navigating this and you have no idea because they put on such a brave face.
Or navigating something. I was speaking to a friend, and during the time of us and me going through all of this, I'd sort of dropped out of super close friendship with this guy. And knew stuff was happening in his world, but didn't realise the extent of it. Don't know what I could have done at the time as well, but essentially he was going through separation, and which led to divorce, and like just the whole not being able to see his kids, or the uncertainty of like, it was just, yeah. So we were talking to them last night. So, but I caught up with him when I was in Newcastle last, and we had like a 3.5 hour chat that went past in like 20 minutes. That's what it felt like anyway. And it seriously was. It was just a catch up of like what's been going on, and we kind of just picked up where we left off. But
they're true friends.
Yeah, he got to share, I guess, the depth of what he's gone through over the last 5 years or whatever, and I got to share kind of more in depth the details that we went through. And then, so there's just been a lot that's come out of this in a good way, I guess. Yeah. I mean, there's some amazing, like I think we talked about it in one of the episodes, but there's some amazing groups that are around that specialize in specific help for different people in different areas. Mm-hmm. And one of our adopted daughters did an amazing post just the other day where she ran 10Ks. 10Ks?
10Ks to raise awareness for an organisation that supports motherless daughters.
Yeah.
So daughters that have lost their mums, particularly when they're young, and just helping to support them and and bring awareness to it. So she ran 10Ks, and I can tell you...
And gave 10 facts. She did like a little...
Every case she did a fact.
Every case she did a new fact about either from the point of view of a motherless daughter, or from the point of view of the statistics that are around, or from the point of view of the organisation, what they do to support. And it was a great...
She will be on this podcast at some point because her story is powerful. Yeah. She's written a book. She's only 22.
22.
Oh, no, wait. We're older than that now.
24?
Because we were still in Newcastle when she had her 21st. And we weren't allowed in.
Yeah, another story.
Anyway, she's in her early 20s, beautifully married now. It's 1 year since her wedding anniversary and 1 year since she released her book.
Very cute book. We should put a link to it.
Gosh, it's not 1 year. She's been married longer than that. My gosh.
Time flies when you're getting old.
I am tired today, guys. If you're going through any sort of grief, we have lots of recommendations. She has written an incredible book that is all around grief and talk about someone being able to like experience her experience in the early days, in the middle, and then now coming out the other side. Obviously, grief never leaves you, but just the way that she has turned her grief into, it's like beauty from ashes. And then I have another beautiful friend who shared recently around grief and grace. So there's lots of
David wrote his book,
people.
Grieving Upwards.
Yeah. There's lots of beautiful people that are sharing from their place of brokenness in such a really precious way to help others. Because grief is the one thing.
The one?
One of the main things that every single person will have to experience in their life. Sort of. Well, death's the number one, but yeah.
And taxes. What is it they say? So in certain things.
That was the wrong words then.
Death and taxes.
Death and taxes.
But no, like there will be some form of grief. Just depends on the extent and also impact and all sorts of stuff, but I get it.
So anyway, thanks guys for bearing with us and being with us. But, oops.
It's fine. It wasn't too bad. I won't have to. It's fine.
There is an exciting event happening this weekend.
Kristie's going in a triathlon.
It will be this weekend. No way. It will be this weekend because this is being posted this week. And so it will be this weekend. Mr. Beren Harris is turning 40. 40. 40, guys.
Catching up to you.
You never can though.
For 9 days.
For 9 days, we are exactly the same age. And then, after that, he gets to call me old again.
True.
But he turns 40 this weekend, and he is... One moment, please. Okay, we're back. We had to pause for a second.
It doesn't matter how many times we say...
Can you shut the door properly, please?
We say, don't come in while recording, and they just can't not come in. Okay.
Take a breath.
Show of hands. Who has kids? They just won't do as you're told.
He has one. I don't do what I'm told very often either. Sorry.
Fine.
Anyway, it's fine. We just dusted off. Beren is turning 40. I clapped again. Beren is turning 40. This is exciting.
You put like oven mitts on your hands so they don't sound proofing.
Hide them behind my back. And we are excited. We're excited. It is birthday month. May is birthday month in our house for us, for the adults.
It's the only month. Well, it's the only month that two of us have a birthday in the same month. Every one of the kids have their own month.
Yeah.
They nearly didn't though. Zaya should have been October. Correct?
Drake should have been October.
Drake is October.
September. He was originally...
Oh, yeah, Drake should have been September and became October, but I'm pretty sure
Zaya was meant to be...
should have been October.
No.
Yeah, because he came 3.5 weeks early, didn't he?
3 weeks early.
Yeah.
And he came on the 8th.
Yeah.
Which means that he should have been the end of September.
Yeah. Potato. But then, what is it? January, July. Yeah. So everyone's got their own month, except for us. We share.
Well, you know.
No high fives.
No high fives.
Soft high fives. Good job.
Okay. So, we thought we'd have some fun with this one.
You thought.
Wait. Fun fact. Where we sit at the dinner table, Beren and I sit, we have a spot. We all have a spot. Beren and I sit next to each other. And every single night without fail, I will have one leg down or up. And I'll have another leg up. the one closest to him. And always, this is how it ends up.
Well, this won't matter for Spotify people. I'll try and describe it to you. We're sitting face
side by side,
looking at the table, and I'm on my chair. Kristie's on her chair.
I always have a leg tucked up, regardless.
Almost
underneath me.
always. Same as in your sleep and all sorts of stuff. And then you do this. You ready? You take your left leg and you lift it up and you jam it underneath my leg. She flicks it up until I lift my leg.
And this is how I eat my dinner.
And then she sits at the table.
I currently have my leg bent with my foot underneath his leg.
Which is fine on a couch because it moves, but on the hard chair... And then my leg, then I'm sitting funny. I sit like, who's seen that Seinfeld episode where he's got the fat wallet under one side and he can't even sit properly? Like,
I have a pretty fat wallet right now. I have too many cards in there. So anyway, I have to, well, he loves it. I have to be touching him.
Which is interesting because it's not the sides that we sleep on the bed. It's the other way around. It's the same way we done the other episodes for the podcast.
But that's okay. So we're going to...
Enough about our bedroom habits.
Interview Mr. Beren because it's all about him this week.
Pray tell.
Pray tell?
I don't know what that word means.
Well, we have to go with some fun ones.
Yeah, don't be boring.
No boring? You're not boring. You're not boring.
You are so tired.
I think I will be in bed again early. We were at the gym this morning.
We were. It was a good workout this morning.
I nearly died.
That's true.
And
you said you think someone
vomited.
threw...
Someone did throw.
Oh, no.
I heard them as I went outside and I saw them. I was like, do you want some water? No, I'm okay. I got some. I'm like, okay. The amount of times I've been there and almost, like, I've had to stop a workout and hold my mouth. At another point, I had to take my drink bottle lid off and pour my entire content of my water over my, like, just straight onto my head to try and cool my body down quick enough so I wouldn't vomit.
You're just overheating. I
was overheating because it was in the middle of, like, summer stuff. But my lid was refusing to come off. I was trying so hard and I'm like, I'm going to spew. I'm going to spew. I'm going to spew. I was like, finally got it off and then I just went, dump. And everyone was like, what is going on? Like, I just needed to cool myself down. I did it outside, not inside the gym. But yeah, I am tired.
It's okay.
So I'll do my best.
Go for it. What's your fun questions?
Fun questions. Well, let's start off with, everybody knows how old you are.
You just told everyone how old I am.
I know. That's what I said. Everybody knows how old you are, so that's not my question.
Excellent.
Favorite colour? Can anyone guess first? Can anyone guess what Beren's favourite colour is? It's very obvious.
Should be. A black.
Which also isn't a colour.
True, it's the absence of all colour.
All colour.
So, which is interesting because, like, there's so many different thousands of versions of black that you can get, which do contain colour, but black in its absolute utmost
purest form.
I think it's 4 zeros on the on the hex chart when you're putting in your colours.
I have no idea what any of that means.
You know the hexadecimal colours where you have, like... Doesn't matter. For those playing along at home, they do know what a hexadecimal is. I think it's 4 zeros.
What's a hexadecimal?
It's like where you choose a colour and you've got, like...
Oh, is that
six numbers. There's 6 numbers which are made up of letters and numbers, and depending on the letters and numbers, it's the colour that's on the spectrum of those type of things. And
you're cool. I like your brain. Okay.
Black is the favourite colour.
Sorry, guys. Black is the favourite colour. Did you mess my hair?
No, baby.
Okay, black is the favourite colour.
Do we get to do this next week with you? I get to interview you.
Sure. If you could have...
Motorbike.
Not what I was going.
Bugger.
If you could have...
Yes.
One food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
So I'm not allowed to eat anything else?
No?
So I have to eat this breakfast, lunch, dinner, morning tea, afternoon tea, snack.
Yes.
Okay. Am I going to die from it because of the amount that I'm going to be eating it?
Details, man. No.
Will I get gigantically fat? Like, as
it
in,
doesn't
like,
affect anything.
like 500,000 pounds. No, it doesn't? Maybe some chocolate.
Really?
Well, I don't know. Like, it's the
What is something you get so excited to eat?
chocolate.
Really?
Clams. I need my clams.
I'm learning things too now. This is probably why it's so hard to cook for you. Or to please you when it comes to cooking, because you're just like, meh. Or like, let's go out for dinner somewhere. Meh.
I'm not super excited by going to a fancy restaurant and having it. Like, if I
I'm not
could,
asking you to go to a fancy
no,
restaurant.
but like I do like, and
You
I
used
think
to love a good schnitzel.
I do love a good chicken snitty, like a good pub made chicken snitty, beer battered fries, little salad on the side. I do really like that, but the downside is that, like,
If it was the best one every single time.
yeah, well then probably, yeah, like that would beat any other food. Like,
He has high standards.
yeah. And the problem is that the pub food seems to be going downhill pretty quickly.
Downhill but up in price.
Yeah, that's fun. It is.
Yeah, it's not.
But I do like chocolate. And it's got to be Cadbury's chocolate. None of your Lindt stuff.
But you like dark chocolate too. You said the other day you missed the dark chocolate.
I do, but that wouldn't be my one.
You would be Cadbury's Marvelous Creations with jelly
Popping
candy.
That's a pretty good one.
That would
I
probably.
do like that one.
Okay. Simple answer.
Okay.
Went all the way over here.
There's a bit of detail I needed to make an
okay.
accurate choice on that one. So.
Favorite season? We'll go real simple to start with.
Ooh, favorite season. That's a good question. It's really hard. I can rule out summer. Summer's not my favourite season.
Okay.
Only for the simple fact that I really like that weather, but I like the end of... Why is our window whistling?
Yeah. Is it our window or is it our door?
End of spring. Start of autumn. Just because it's not like...
They don't... You mean together?
No, as in like, rather than summer.
I'm like, does he realise? Wait, did I win this one? Did he just get his seasons wrong?
No, but like, I like the summer, but I like the end of spring as it goes into summer.
Oh, yeah.
Or the end of summer, which is like the start of autumn.
So just in the last few weeks.
Because it's not too hot to go to the beach. You can still swim. You can go for a skate. You can do all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But you're not in the middle of like burn. Anyway. But then depending where we were living, winter would probably be my favourite. Because winter brings snow. Not in the Gold Coast though.
No.
Did I answer the question?
Guys, you tell us. Did he answer that question?
Moving on.
He does love the winter, but he loves it because of... You like elements of the winter?
Yes.
Or something in my eyeball. You don't like that there's lots of layers in winter.
Not lots of layers on you.
You don't
like adding security vault upon security vault to try and get in.
Or the security passwords and voice activation. Oh, hang on, pause. There's something in my eyeball. So silly. Okay, we're back. Oh, shivers, sorry.
Shivers.
I didn't mean to bang you. Okay.
Didn't you? Didn't you? Calm yourself.
Favorite dad joke?
Oh. Favorite. I don't know if I have a favorite dad joke.
Top 3.
I do like the one. I obviously like this one because it's nice and easy to remember. And Zeke always reminds me of it, that it was the first dad joke I ever told him, or it was one of his first jokes that he remembers me telling him, which was, why didn't the toilet paper cross the road? Because it got stuck in the crack.
Oh my gosh. It's a typical dad joke.
I do like that one.
Yeah, that's a fun one. This is a fun one.
What else you got for me?
If you... Ooh. Nah. Maybe we won't do that question. That's like our around the table question, and I'm thinking, and we'll just leave that one. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Again, clarification around superpower. Is it like one superhero's ability to have all of his, or is it like you've just got one? Like if someone can do multiple things, you can just get one of their things, or is it like, does it have to actually be super, or could it just be defined by the movies?
Welcome to my life. Just what superpower would you have? Gabriel should be asking you these questions because he knows how to decipher
He should be able
and
to
explain and get you to your answer.
Well, if it's just if it was the superhero, as in B1, it's just like proper, but it had to be super. Then it'd be Superman because he can do like everything.
Yeah.
Again, so if it had to be one particular thing and it had to be a super thing, I'd fly. That would be it.
No, I'd fly.
If it was based on the movies when those types of things, then I'd be Batman. Because they go, what's your superpower? He's like, I'm rich. And then he can do all the cool stuff. But he's not really super apart from... He just has super toys.
Yes.
He's rich and he's got all the...
He's got super toys. Yes. Yes. He's a billionaire, therefore he has all the toys.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
There's not simple questions. There's layers. Like an onion. No, because I like onions.
It's like a parfait.
Yeah, many want to say I don't like no parfait.
Favorite movie of all time?
Ooh. Snatch.
Oh, that's good. I thought you were going to go into like, is it like...
No.
Snatch.
Snatch would be my top movie of all times.
Favorite quote of that movie? Beeping out swear words if necessary. What is like, you hear it and you're just like, yes.
It's the one probably between where...
Don't watch that movie with children.
Yeah, don't watch Snatch with children around, but it's just the best. It's literally a movie that's made up of one-liners. The entire movie is just like one-liners. It's like, what's that, Tommy? It's like, that's a gun. Oh no, that's my belt. It's just like, no, in your belt. That's a gun. What for? For the Germans. It's just like... No offense to the Germans, it's a quote, and they're English, and the English and the Germans have had like their own history, right? If you didn't know, go study history. You'll find out there was this whole thing between the two of them, right? Anyway, it's just the best. It's a great movie.
Oh my gosh, I love you so much. I don't even want my 19-year-old, he's 19, to watch that.
He's already watched it, it's fun.
Did Gabriel?
No.
Okay, great. Okay. I keep smelling really nice smells. I've got my diffuser on.
She's just going. It's not me.
Okay.
He's not a pikey, is he? Effing hate pikeys.
If you could go back
Ooh.
to your, usually it's 16-year-old self.
Is it?
Let's go with 18-year-old self. Let's go back. If you could go back to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell them?
I would slap myself across the face to start with. I'd be like, whoosh, you're about to make a whole bunch of mistakes. Don't. But very simply, I would tell my 18-year-old self to stop wasting money. And I would tell myself to take every opportunity to get into some form of real estate and just hold it and and to start investing outside of real estate as well, and do not miss a single chance to progress those two areas. The biggest takeaway that I would try and tell myself is you do not understand the power of compounding, which just takes time. Whether it's compounding interest based on like a money point of view, whether it's compounding the growth of all sorts of like time-based activity. So real estate in most places that's chosen well, right, will increase in value over time because people are looking to get into those areas. And then it's just one of those things that takes time as well. And it's just, there's so much that I wasted in those early years, which you pay for later on. You don't pay for it in the moment. You pay for it well and truly down the track. If you understand how to use your time well, then you would understand that those activities that you do where someone else is in control of the time, like going to work, organized sport, church, like where someone says, this is when it is, and this is when it has to happen, then like there's not a lot of movement that you can do, right? There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do where you're meeting with people, and this is where I see, and I did spend so much of your sort of teenage years. It's like you're hanging out with someone else and you both have a bit of a say. It's like, so are we going to go to the movies this weekend? Yep. Do you want to go to the 4 o'clock or do you want to go to the 6 o'clock? Right? And we both kind of get in and say, oh, which location do you want to go to? And then all the things that really matter to how you want to shape and build your life will only happen if you choose to do them. It's not up to someone else, and no one else is probably checking in on you. It's only going to happen if you choose to do it. And when it comes to, I guess, the negative sides of those 3 areas, if you don't turn up to work, 5 minutes later your boss is going to know and he's going to be pretty upset. If you miss the movies, might be 10 minutes because I'm giving you a bit of leeway, and then you might get a message from me saying, are you okay? We should have been here 10 minutes ago. And those things that you're meant to control for yourself, those things that really matter, like looking after your own time, your health, your investing, all those things that no one else is going to check up on you to see whether you're doing it. that will show up that will show up much further down into your own future, and usually when something's broken. And that's been a very hard lesson to learn.
That's a good answer.
I didn't know how to make that answer funny.
You don't need to make that answer funny. With that, so now what we know when it comes to your mental health and all those kind of things, there's a better understanding of where you were coming from at that age. So on the other side of it, on the other level, so, you're talking to them practically, if you're talking to them emotionally, knowing that you are deep in the thick of
Oh, it would have only just been, it would have been
mental health stuff.
At the start of the journey.
Because, as we learnt, it was around that time that you had your first experience of wanting to end it. What would you say to yourself, or what do you wish someone would have done back then, or that you might have done?
Yeah,
on the more emotional side and the more mental health side.
On the more emotional side, I guess it would have been that, you are the average of your 5 closest friends.
Yeah.
I would have well and truly got myself to look at the people that I was surrounded with and gone, it's a bit of a downhill spiral from here. And I think what I would have loved but probably not accepted, just thinking about it, so to speak, is for someone to sort of step into that place of going, like, I just want to take you aside just for a second. I just want to have a quick conversation. This is, again, would I have listened? Would I have done anything about it?
But
yeah, you would have of course. But like, I think from an emotional point of view, the understanding of this is what it's going to look like if you don't see someone. And it's weird because I reckon it would have had to have come from someone that's sort of been through it before. Like we talked about this. Yeah. We talked about it this morning on our car chats.
That ended up being a podcast length time anyway.
Yeah. Well, we had plenty of free time.
Go check out our Instagrams. We actually have...
it's like a bonus episode.
It's like a bonus episode.
But we
could have just posted that.
We talked about the idea of getting advice from people.
Or having people around you who've been through that space.
Well, the advice was to, when you're going through something, having support from someone that's not only just walked the journey, so they're not just giving theoretical knowledge, they're giving practical, hands-on, experiential knowledge, advice, and they're there to support and uplift rather than engage and wallow. That's probably the better way of saying it.
And I think too, one of the things in that we missed saying today is that age doesn't determine the maturity of somebody. When you look at Leah, the maturity that she has and the ability she has now to walk someone through that grief process, yet she's still in her early 20s.
Yeah.
I think that has been one thing that has really held people up in either being the person that is able to give the advice or wisdom because they feel like they're too young or too old or whatever. I think age, there's a lot of older people who I would never take advice from because the maturity level is just not there. And that might be maturity in their faith, maturity in life experiences, maturity in business.
It's funny you say in life experiences. It's this, you know, the joke about like, you must apply for the job and you must have like 5 years experience or something like that, right? Which I always think is dumb because in certain jobs...
Well, there can be
you might have
contradictory to that.
Well, you might have 1 year worth of experience learning and growing and becoming fluent in that job. And then you've done the exact same thing for 6 years, 7 years or 8 years, or let's say it's 10 years. You don't have 10 years worth of experience. You've got 1 year worth of experience and 9 years worth of repetition, if that makes sense, right?
Or it's in that space where you go...
Now, that's one way of looking at it.
People they ask for experience, but it's totally valid and that's a good thing. But you've got these people who are passionate about what they want to do, and they might have just finished a degree or a course or something in that area that they're passionate about, but they don't necessarily have the experience yet, but they need the experience in order to go for certain jobs. So it's like...
Yeah, we want a junior. We want a junior with 5 years experience. I'm not sure that kind of works. Going back to the experience thing, like there are positions where you want someone that's done the same thing for 10 years because you want them to have solidified their 10,000 hours. You want them to be rock solid in knowing how they're doing.
And so, it might be a safety thing.
100%. So I'm not trying to take away from that. But at the same time, like when you look at someone that goes, okay, awesome, I've done one job for 10 years, there is great honor in that because you've stuck with something, you've honed your skills, you've become really fluent at it. And then there could be someone that comes in and goes, I've done 20 different jobs in 10 years, if that makes sense. Now,
and has a lot of skills.
And has maybe a vast range of skills that can help with problem solving or all sorts of things that might come up that are outside of the box, if that makes sense. So I just think anyway, it's just...
No, it's good because I think that's like, you know, it's definitely a topic that needs to be talked about, especially in this day and age when it comes to jobs and things like that and experience, and because we've gone slightly off the topic. But, you know, obviously we're deep in that right now with our children. Like one's working, one's not, but one is trying really hard to get a job, and the amount of resumes and things he's applied for is ridiculous. Like, and he's not even the only one we know in that space. But everything's automated now. And, you know, like, it's like, oh, here, apply online. You go into a store, apply online. And 9 times out of 10, they've probably got some AI bot that just goes bump, bump, up, looking for like probably hot words, and then goes, oh, we'll push that one through.
Mind you, we are assuming here. We don't 100% know, but what we do know is that he has applied for a lot of jobs and had 0 callbacks.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, does seem crazy when we know through lots of other experiences, and you probably know heaps as well. It's just like there are lots of people out there that are always like, hey, we're looking for someone. Hey, we're looking for someone. Hey, we're looking for someone. It's just like, well...
It's trying to marry those two up.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, we need to be aware.
But it's that lost chance of going, you know, you've got these kids who are passionate going in and handing in resumes because they're showing they want to work, and they're missing an awesome opportunity because they're like, oh, you do it all online, which means just go to small businesses and actually go to local small businesses, and you're more likely to get something like that. Anyway, back to what you were saying. We were talking about, like, what would you have wanted or said to yourself in the mental health space?
Yeah, I would have really tried to encourage myself to go and see someone.
Would it have come from would you have preferred it to come from someone that just a random, or would you have preferred it coming from someone who has built connection and relationship with you, who genuinely shows you they care, but in the way that you understand?
Yeah, well, you said if I could go back and speak to myself to start with, right? So I would encourage myself to 100% go and find support, if that makes sense. If I could speak to people that might be speaking to other people, see other people in their world, it's just like, it would be finding someone that has that connection. It doesn't have to be their closest friend or those sort of things, but it's someone that just, like, you value them, if that makes sense, right? Yeah. And like, you can see that they've produced fruit, and like, it's like, give them something to hope for, rather than someone that's at the same level, that's struggling with the same sort of things. Like, yeah, you need to go see someone. It's like the pot calling the kettle black, right? So, yeah. But I think that would, if I could go back and speak to myself, that's what I would say. I would be like, there are plenty of programs, there are plenty of people, there are plenty of situations where you can get the support that you need. And if I was talking to myself, I'd be like, there's a pretty little lady on her way, and you need to be there for her, and you are not looking after yourself.
Okay. So.
Last question.
You're going into your 40s, a new decade.
It's so weird to think that, like, when we talk about decades, hold on, I know you're going to ask me a question, but I just think it's so weird to think about decades. It's your
podcast
from the point of
today, you're fine.
Like, so you've got your 0 to 10, you got your 10 to 20, you got your 20 to 30, and then you got your 30 to 40. Right?
It's technically, it could be the first half of your year, of your life.
Right. And it's just like,
going for your second innings.
It's only 4 decades. Like, yes, it's 40 years, but when you think about it, like, you spend the first decade kind of a bit useless. You can't really do anything, right? You spend the second decade floundering around thinking you know everything when you don't know anything, right? And then and then you've got this third decade where you're like, okay, right, well, have we talked about the 3 journeys on here? We might do it a bit when I talk about the motorbike. Have we, like, the journey you walk out of, the journey of today, the journey of...
We'll do that when you do motorbike.
Okay, so there's a lot of people that we now get to help and coach through, but they're doing that, but they're doing it in their 40s or in their 50s or something. But I think forcing us to have kids early almost forced us to kind of do, and they had the motorbike accident, all sorts of stuff. So it was weird.
There's no forcing. We were very happily trying all the, like, we were happily doing all the things that actually get you a baby. There's no forcing happening there.
Not forcing having kids, no. That's what I said.
Yes.
Oh.
How's that? Pretty sure.
And then...
You were not...
Well, I said there was a pretty little lady, so... And then this last decade that we've been through, it's just been like wild. Anyway, sorry. But really, like 4 decades, like, in Jesus' name, we're looking for a very long, healthy life.
Someone just passed away and they were 116 years off. 116 years old, and they're only like a week or 2 off their 117th birthday.
Oh, that's what I was getting at. Apologies. It has nothing to do with birthdays. But the first 2 decades, the first 20 years, like, and we talked about this with Drake, so to speak, right? It's just like, you're still kid, if that makes sense. 18, 19, 20, you're still a kid. Now, there's lots of...
You are very early. You are very junior adult.
No. When you turn 21, that's like the first birthday of being an adult, you know, and you're not a teenager. True. You know what I mean? Like, it's so you turn 20, you're now not a teenager anymore, so you're now an adult. So your 21st is like, yay, first year of being an adult. So
that's probably why the 21st birthday is so significant.
Maybe, I don't know. But so this turning 40, I've only been an adult for 20 years.
Yeah.
And you spend a lot longer being an adult than you do being a kid, so...
And do you know what's funny? Like, I'm going to ask you a question in a second, but like one thing that I found really interesting when it comes to like the whole thing when I said about age and maturity, I have come across a girl on Instagram, and I want to get it right, but she had her first baby at 15. She fell pregnant. She decided to keep it, and she now has 3 kids. And she's like, again, probably now only like still not
Were they
quite
close together, the ages?
fairly close.
Mm-hmm.
And she is the way that the wisdom that comes out of her mouth when she shares, and how switched on she is with the world around her, and the way that she thinks around different areas of life is like, it's inspiring.
Yeah, cool.
I look at that and go, that's why I'm like, age doesn't equal maturity.
No, it doesn't. But like,
like, you know, you were saying like, at this time you're this, you're this, and
Yeah,
I think we have to be very conscious of our language, like you've said before, very conscious of our language. We don't use absolutes, therefore we can't use absolutes with people and age demographics and all that kind of stuff, because I think what we're endeavoring to do is bring a different viewpoint and to create a better environment and society for our children and our grandchildren to live in. Like, it might be a tiny drop in the water, but
again, it's in the circle and in the sphere that we live in, and
we're breaking, and we are essentially breaking the generational cycles within our families, like in our bloodlines. And I think language around things is so important.
Yeah, 100%.
Because, you know,
even people watching Drake's thing, are just like, he said some very brutally honest things, but he said a lot of it with a lot of wisdom and all sorts of stuff that we've talked many times, that there are some things that he hasn't experienced that we would have well and truly experienced by that age, and life experiences.
Thank
and
you,
all.
Jesus.
But like, yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's other things that he is well and truly more mature about and emotionally switched on and all sorts of things than we would have been. So.
And I think that testament is to him as a person, but also to us.
Well, to you, I haven't grown up yet, so it's not me. So.
Conversations that we have had with them and the language around how we spoke to them.
True.
So,
final question.
Rapid fire if you want to.
Yes.
What are you taking into your 40s and leaving in your 30s?
I think taking into my 40s, I am taking in a slower pace. And that's not because of an age. That is because of...
Not slowing down because you're 40?
Yeah, it's definitely not that. It's more intentional. What's the word? It's more intentionally planning to be present. Yeah. And to do that in the world that we live in with our family and all the things that happen. So I think going into the 40s, it's slowing down intentionally to just be more present. That is a habit I'm working on, so to speak. What am I leaving in the 30s? I don't know. We did a lot of cool stuff over the 30s, so I think one thing that I'm leaving...
Like maybe attitudes or ways of thinking.
One thing that I am leaving in the 30s is the idea that we have to have our own house that we live in, that we own. We have spent so many years. We should do a whole episode just on houses and all sorts of stuff, right? And just that journey. But when I tell you we've lived in a lot of houses, compared to a lot of other people, compared to some people, it's about the same or those type of things. But
it's equivalent of if we were a military family.
Yeah. So we will do an episode on that. I think that would be a bit of fun. But
there's a lot of lessons learned there.
We have learnt a lot of lessons over the last 10 years, because it's only been 11 years since we bought our first house, and we've owned 4 houses. And I think the thing that I'm leaving is the idea that the house we live in has to be owned by us. Okay. For us to be happy.
Okay.
We can dive deeper on that later. But we actually need to go. I'm really sorry.
We have to go. One last piece of advice.
From you or from me?
Actually, no. Let's not do that bit. We'll end it on a fun one.
Okay.
Keep it PG.
I'll try.
Ultimate dream vacation or holiday.
Somewhere up in the mountains, surrounded by snow, with huge big glass windows overlooking the valley that I can snowboard out of down to the village, get on the gondolas, go up, spend all day, and when I need to, snowboard back to the cabin or the chalet, whatever it is.
Guys, if you know where this place is, please let us know.
We're starting a GoFundMe, so...
We are not doing that.
The 40th birthday present. How good would that be?
Okay,
We
last one.
what you said
No,
2
wait,
ago.
wait. Last one.
Okay.
Vision board for your decade of 40.
Vision board.
Mm.
Oh, I don't know. It has a Harley on it.
Yeah.
And not just because I've reached 40s and those type of things. I've wanted one for quite a long time now. And I had to sell my other motorbike coming up here. I didn't have to. Sorry, that's the wrong choice of words. But it involves... It definitely involves being bad debt-free.
Bad debt-free, yep. Mm-hmm.
Not good debt-free.
Negative debt-free.
Bad debt-free. It involves a motorbike. It involves an amazing 20-year anniversary holiday. Just the two of us.
That might be the snow one.
Which is not far away.
It's next year, guys.
What else does it involve? And it involves just doing the work we want to do.
Yeah. A few grandbabies.
Maybe. Yeah.
I'd want to hope so in the next 10 years.
Yeah, but not... Yeah. Well, Tyre's only going to be... Oh, yeah, he'll be 21.
21?
Yeah, he doesn't need to be having grandbabies, though, so that's fine. Awesome.
21. We'll have 21, 23.
We had Drake when we...
25 and 29. I'd hope there's some
There'll be
grandbabies
some
in
by
there.
then, maybe. Okay.
That's us. Signing off. Well done.
That was good.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday
And
to
now I'll get to
you.
ask you all the questions.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. I love you.
I love you. Bye.
Bye. Where am I going?
I'll go make a phone call.
I'm going to get back to work.
Okay. See ya.